Hello, 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 and welcome to Happy Goodwin Day.
Happy Goodwin Day.
Yay! I got
And
it
obviously
right this
another
time.
episode of Problem Busters.
Yes, another episode of Problem Busters. I should have got that. See, I was so happy that I got it right the first time that I forgot to introduce the name of the podcast.
And I was just so enjoying dancing along to the theme music and thinking how that really gets me in the mood.
You see, and this is why I like you so much, Ollie, because I thought I was the only person doing that. I was bopping my head. It's nice.
The joys of a standing desk means you can dance along, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I wish I had a standing desk at the moment, but I'm old school. I sit down at my desk.
You sit down to work.
Yeah, none of this new school stuff. I'm proper old school.
Yeah, leave it to the kids.
Yeah, come on.
So why Happy Goodwin Day? What's that about, Jonathan?
So, Happy Goodwin Day is the anniversary of when we started this show.
I've never had an anniversary with another man in this way before, and I'm quite pleased that it's you.
Yes, likewise, and it feels quite good. So, here we are.
Who would have thunk it?
Who would have thunk it? A year later, me, you, podcast, interviews.
Just a couple of hundred friends.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. From all different regions, right?
Yeah. Properly global. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes.
So what we thought we'd do is just mark this auspicious occasion and maybe have a think back to what we were thinking when we first started this thing, and then maybe a little bit about some of the things that we've learned in the last year of doing this show and bringing it out there for your enjoyment, and then maybe a little bit about what we will do next. What do you reckon, Jonathan?
Yeah, I think that's a good plan.
So where did it start for you?
Well, I keep saying but I said it again. It started when we were out for lunch, I think, and we were having a lot of interesting discussions. I
remember this.
Yes. So before I would go out for lunch, or before you'd go out to lunch, you swing by. How's everything doing? Yada yada, and we'd be like, "Oh yeah, small chat here, small talk there." Then it got real deep once. And we were
just so people know, we used to work together, right? You weren't just coming around my house.
Jumping on the train, I'm like, "Oh, Ollie, you want to go for lunch?"
There he is on the window again.
Yeah. How you doing today? Like, oh, what's the meaning of the universe?
Don't let him in. Hide. But you're right. It started to get quite deep, and then there was a fateful moment, wasn't there, when I was like, "Do you want to start another podcast?" And you were like, "But I've already got a podcast. I'm already quite a big deal, right?"
Yeah, I was like, "I'm already famous. What do you mean? What do you mean this podcast? I'm known. I'm known everywhere." And not really. I'm nowhere near. I was like, "Yeah, I do have a podcast too." And
the idea was, what was the idea for you to begin with? Like, why Problem Busters?
Because it was an idea to. It was mainly about to highlight people that help fix things and solve problems as well. I believe we had a discussion about dam busters at one point.
Yeah, I think we did, and we decided it was a little bit too close to Mythbusters. Love those guys, full credit. But
yeah, and then Problem Busters came about. There's a lot of problems in the world, and a lot of people that are solving them that just are not highlighted. Yeah. So yeah, I think that it originally. I don't think we knew the trajectory.
So many big words.
I know that we would take, but I'm actually quite happy with the direction that it's gone.
I'm glad you are, because I keep dragging you back to the mic.
Oh, yeah. There we go. So yeah, crazy idea, but
and we didn't know how it would go, did we? We just thought we'll start this thing up and have a couple of people on and talk to them about things that they are doing that we think are positive and we think are solving problems in their own way. And here we are.
Yes. People started to listen.
They did. Hundreds of them
hundreds,
Hundreds and
hundreds
hundreds.
from like India, the United States.
Some place called New Zealand.
Yes. Oh, that place, very far away. Do they even have podcasts
The
over there?
internets.
Do they have podcasts over there? Wow.
I'll have you know, young man, that a number of technologies were tested in New Zealand,
Oh,
including your FPOS card or your cash flow card,
oh.
first tested in New Zealand. People will probably fact check me and tell me that was New Zealand was actually second, but
No, I
it's all
believe
good.
you. I believe you. It's New Zealand now. You've told me it's now New Zealand for forevermore in my
Yep,
book.
you gotta own it like
Yeah,
Russell Crowe.
yeah, that's it.
So,
Awesome.
all right. So, what have we learned from a year of doing this and meeting people? What's the first thing that comes to mind for you?
Well, the first one, I think I mentioned it earlier, was that people were actually interested. So that was a big kind of wake up call when people would listen and give us feedback and say, well, this was really quite good.
When's the
Um, uh,
next episode? Why
when's
has
the
it
next
been so
episode?
long?
Exactly. When you're going to fix the sound.
That's what we've got you for, my friend. You are the
oh,
tech genius, the
oh,
youth in the room.
well, I will wear that hat, and I
Good.
will take it off when I go outside because I don't believe it. I'm playing.
Uh,
We've also met some amazing people, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Met in inverted commas
yeah.
because in a socially distanced, appropriate way, meaning
Ex-
on the internet.
exactly. Until we get these Problem Busters studios up and running, and it was during the pandemic as well. So,
Yeah,
what was another surprise as well, actually, is well, going back to the people that we talked to and the listeners, is the willingness and availability of a lot of our problem busters to come and speak and spread their um their good news of the
yeah.
problems they're solving. And
I
that,
didn't think. I thought we were just a couple of people on mics, and these people are busy. And you're right. They were almost all up for it, right?
yeah, yeah, definitely. And a lot of them came with scripts and everything, and you know not to say that we didn't have our own our own schedules and agendas, thanks to you, Ollie.
Yeah. Well, if you don't
But
have a bit of a discussion guide, then you end up just
yeah,
telling a long story, don't you?
exactly. During the war, but
Back in the days of black and white.
yeah, yeah, back in the days. Yeah. So yeah, that I think that was one of the big sort of wake up calls as well.
Mm.
Um,
And I guess for me, um, I maybe I was a little bit naive, but I thought it was going to be a bit of a struggle to find enough people that we would want to have on the show. And I remember when we were first naming the show, thinking, are there going to be enough problem busting people for us to talk to?
yeah.
But there's a lot of positive news around, right? And a lot of people
Yes.
who are doing great things, so much more than I thought. And I'm, a chronic optimist.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a lot of improving going on. And especially when you start to look for it, if
Yeah,
you're looking in the places, if you're looking for the solutions, you tend to really find them. And it was a good way of sort of speaking to the people behind these solutions. And also, there's so much positive news around. We've even got a new segment, happy good news. So,
that's right. And sometimes we even get the name right.
yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
and yeah, and I'm really glad that we've got into that as a way of effectively talking about more topics quickly because there's only so many hours in the day to book all these people in, right? And
Yeah,
I don't even know how long our list of people that we have to come on the show is, but it's more than 40, right?
yeah. Crikey. That's all I have to say is crikey.
And what about lockdown? Lockdown's been a big part of running this show, hasn't it? Because although we used to work together in the same room and go to lunch
hmm
together like the old days,
hmm
we launched this during lockdown, and we haven't seen each other in the entire year that we've run this, have we?
No, we haven't. So yeah, and we have been apart. And this is a quote from you, actually. It's held us apart, but brought many together. I
I
think
like that.
we should have that on a plaque or something. That was
I'll put it on a t-shirt.
yeah, it's real deep. I'll buy one. I really would. So yeah, I think just the landscape of society when we did launch this in terms of the lockdown, and you can see the transition of our content in terms of there was a lot of mental health and a lot of well-being, whilst
Yeah,
people were obviously worried, and those are the questions that society were asking,
yeah,
because there was a real issue around mental health in Britain at the time, because
yeah.
personally, I know there were some people who were reaching out for a lot of mental health professionals, and they were on like waiting lists for months even.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, so.
It's been a tough taskmaster,
Hmm.
um, being and if I'm a big believer in calling things by simple language, right? Simple names. And
Yes.
if I said, Jonathan, for the next year and a half, you're going to be locked inside, fearing for your life, and
Hmm.
unable to go and see your extended family and your friends, um, of course you'd think that's probably going to be quite grim. And yet, when it happened, maybe because it was just a little bit more, I hope this gets better.
Yeah.
Um, it kind of crept up on me. I don't know about you.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. It
I
did.
just got tired,
Yeah. You
and
get burnt out. It's very. It's a state of high stress for a very long time. And
yes,
I mean, having the podcast is a way of relieving that as well, because although obviously you're not face to face, you do have these different conversations,
yeah,
and I think for the listeners that was a way as well, rather than you know going out and speaking to new people or being around different conversations, having a podcast on and listening to two or maybe three people speak about a topic you probably don't know about or you're interested in, is a way of sort of dealing with that as well. So, uh,
yeah. It's a way of connecting, and also, I guess the point of this show for us is that it's about improving things, right? And giving back and sharing good ideas, and um, and if there's lots of nerdy science in it, all the
yeah.
better. But something that I've really got out of it that I didn't expect is just how much I learned in this
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
Um, and if we'd really thought about it, if I'd thought about it, hours and hours of talking to interesting people and asking them questions, of course it's going to teach us some things, right? But
Yes.
um, but I just didn't expect it, um, and we'd get to the end of the shows, and often we'd talk for an hour afterwards because we were so buzzing on all of the positivity,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me as well, because I don't tend to have, as much experience in terms of a number of the guests that we've had, with their topics or whatever problem they're solving. But
And
it
let's
really
call a
is an
spade a
eye
spade.
opener.
I'm a lot older as well,
Yeah,
right?
you're old, mate. You're old. I'm sorry. I'm
It's
sorry. I'm
it's a
sorry. I'm
fact.
sorry. We had to drop it out. I'm joking. Now I'm getting older. You're not that old. But yeah, I think I'm kind of like the fly on the wall, where I'm kind of like, oh, that's interesting. What is that? And the questions to ask, right? So oh, let me prod here, prod there, and I'm like, wow, I'm lapping this up, as much as a listener would.
And it's good
But
because
yeah,
you got to have someone in the conversation who is asking the questions that people
yes,
listening would ask, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
and I'm sure that in the future, when we have a lot more science, a lot more technology and engineering and stuff, the roles will be reversed, right?
oh,
And
I
I'll be
cannot
like,
wait.
how do you capture the carbon, right?
Yeah, and I'll be like, well, I don't know either. Please tell us, expert.
And when they 3D print, what do they really print?
Yeah, what do
How
they
does that
print?
actually happen?
Yeah.
And
How?
it is so
Yeah.
empowering also to realize that we've now got a platform that allows us to go out to just about anybody who's not um, Elon Musk. We're coming for
Yes.
you, Elon.
Yeah,
It'll be
Elon.
soon. It'll be
You're
soon.
still you're still the main goal of this arc.
Yeah,
We're
you're an
coming for you.
interesting guy.
Yeah.
We've got a lot to talk about. It will happen.
Definitely.
But the point is that we've got the ability now to reach out to all these interesting people on just about any topic, and then share it with folks, which is pretty awesome, right?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. And as a vessel, I think it's probably one of the best ones that you can have, because not only are you um, enjoying them yourself, you're including other people with you. It's a all inclusive medium. I love it.
Totally.
Mm,
And it's also given us an opportunity to focus on the stuff that's important, right? This show, it's really interesting how the themes of well-being and looking after yourself and looking after your team, and
yeah,
both of us run teams, and I feel really responsible for them, and I know you do.
yeah,
Um, Looking after our families, the people around us.
yes,
If you live in an
yes,
apartment building, then the people downstairs, what are they going through? This whole shared experience of lockdown and the pandemic has really highlighted for me that um, things affect everybody. They don't
yeah,
just affect me.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I think so. I agree. I don't think our listeners know, but my mum recently passed away in June. Sadly, and the podcast or the people I've met on here are really quite supportive. Like a few people, I think, Daryl Woodhouse. I had a nice chat
mm,
with him, like just to sort of speak and just have a talk. um, and he was really, supportive and really, really helpful. And I think a lot of the guests that we had that deal with wellness and well-being, they were really, you know, I don't want to say true to brand, but they're really caring. They really care about the people. So it was really positive to sort of to receive that support, which was really, yeah, it was really good, really comforting. So I think this is definitely, it's really helped. It really did help me deal with a lot of it as well. Um,
yeah,
and
and that's such a good thing, right?
yeah,
Such
yeah,
a good thing.
it is, and and the whole focus on think about all of the good times and stuff. Which I think on your other podcast, I have a what was it? Made in the 90s is the name of of
Yeah.
my episode, and I've got some quite detailed and hilarious stories about my mum on there as well. So I actually listened back to that with my sisters and the family, and they loved it too. So this is also a good way of just sort of documenting stuff as well. So years to
That's
come,
cool.
like Gabriel, which is my son, and his sister can listen back and be like, "Wow, that's what she was really like." So yeah, so Gone Workabout, episode made in the 90s. That's it. Lovely.
We'll put it in the notes,
Yes.
and that's. I'm so glad that the show and some of the people that we've had on were
Mm,
able to help in that way and provide support.
yeah.
And it kind of reminds me that by doing anything that out of a desire to help other people just naturally helps us as well,
Yes.
doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
there's got to be a
Definitely.
message in that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so as well. Um, Definitely.
And I like to think also that your mum's looking down and feeling really proud, you know?
Yes. Yeah. I like to. Yeah. I think so as well. I think so as well. And thank you for your support as well. This is a
It's
bit
the
of a
least
public forum. Like, oh man, thank you so much. But yeah.
it's the least I could do, right? It's the least
Yeah.
I could do. Yeah. So I guess we're starting to talk about the future, aren't we? So
Yes.
what are we doing next? What can people expect from us in the next 12
Cool.
months?
What can I say? Do you know what? Crikey. I'm going to use that so often now. I like crikey. Got that from my mum. So, crikey. We have a long list of interesting people to talk to, from reusable batteries to talking about race in Britain to sunglasses to food and carbon and
And those cool
maths.
people who've found out a way to like knit bone together better for people who
Ooh,
break bones.
yes, yes, yes. So awesome. And I think I might there are some nutritionists as well, which is going to be quite interesting. And fitness people too, because we're coming out of the old lockdown and a lot of focus is being done on fitness.
Got a little bit of
So
the
yeah,
lockdown lump. Yep, I do.
lockdown pounds. Oh,
Yeah.
cool. So,
Recommended listening method is to have headphones in and be going for a walk, right?
yes,
Help us
yes.
help you.
Help us help you. If you don't want to walk, you can jump on the treadmill, um, or bike actually. Um, so we also have the happy good news, which we're looking to initially do probably each month,
Yeah.
um, and see how that goes. But I think each month is pretty solid for now. Um,
And so,
more.
if you come across something that you think's awesome and other people wouldn't find, just hit us up on whatever method, and we'll put it in the good news week. Or
Yes.
sorry, happy good news.
Oh,
Did it
happy good news.
again.
Oh,
So clever, I forgot it.
yeah. Oh god, yeah. So reach out to us, and yeah, we will do our best to add it onto each happy good news segment.
And there's going to be a lot more nerdy science, right?
Yeah. Oh, I would
The
love to
world
get an
just needs more of it.
yes. I would love to get an astrophysicist on. That would
Yeah,
be. You know what? We have Elon Musk. I think I might put Neil deGrasse Tyson up there as well. I think we need
100%.
one of each. Yeah. Oh. Or
And you know something else I'd
yeah.
like to have our first of? I'd like to have our first TEDx speaker on the show.
Yes.
That'd be cool.
That would be good. Do you know who I would like? Actually, do I? I think there's a guy called Wallow. He spent like 30 years in prison, 30 or 20 years. He's young, came from a really tough um, background in Philadelphia, and he's gone out and he's hit the ground running. I think in the space of maybe 5 to 10 years of coming out, he's reduced the amount of people going in and change his life around. That would be a good one.
Oh,
I
that'd be
think because
amazing.
yeah, especially in America, the social, the old, how everything is socially over there is quite tough. So it'd be
Yeah.
interesting to hear how he done that. But
One
yeah,
thing that all the analysis seems to suggest is that locking people up is not really the way, right? So,
no, yeah, it's really bad mentally as well.
yeah,
So, woof. So we
good
could
for
get an
him.
expert on and make our way up.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I'd like to have someone on who's a recording artist too, like a singer. I think that'd be
Oh
cool.
yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Sing us a song. I like the sound of that.
Yes, yes. Adele, I'm putting it out there.
Yep, yep. Lives down the road actually.
Yeah,
So
down the road, come on.
speaking of lurking outside houses, I've got a podcast. It's 2 a.m.
You want to jump on? Yeah, it's 2 in the morning. And why are you on my property?
Indeed. So there's
Yep.
lots coming up. It's been a year. Who knew it? And we hope you're enjoying this show as much as we are. And there's plenty more to come, right?
Yes, plenty more interesting discussions, a lot of fun discussions as well, and a lot of engaging topics.
And maybe the occasional joke.
Yes, maybe the occasional mispronunciation of a word.
Yeah, and most of that's me. Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. So happy anniversary, Jonathan.
Yes, happy anniversary, Ollie. And till the next time.
Thanks for tuning in.